Uh, this video is for you, and you know who you are because you have sent me messages about a specific subject, which is the concept of cadences in music. Well, cadence is very important in music, and yeah, I'm glad that you asked me to go over it with you, who sent me those messages. But I'm not going to go straight into the subject today because there are a few things that that are very important to know before you can fully understand the concept of cadences. First of all, you need to understand your major, especially your major scale. You need to focus your attention on two very important intervals in the major scale, which is the two half steps between the third and the fourth notes. Excuse me. And the seventh and eighth note within the scale, because those two half steps within the major scale play a very important role in many aspects of music in the diatonic system. And that's why that's one of the reasons why that you need to really you know, keep those two half steps in your mind when you play music, because whatever scale you're playing, those two half steps come very, very handy to understand what types of chords you're playing and so on. They have a very they are harmonically, they are very, very crucial in music. So before you can really understand cadences, you need to know that within a major scale, for example, C major scale, which has 7 notes. Okay, then you play the octave, eighth. The eighth. Well, it's not eighth. It's actually it's the repeated root, and you have two. In the C major scale, for example, your first half step is between the E and F. Between the third and the fourth note, and your second half step is between the seventh and C octave. I don't really want to say eighth, but between seven and C octave. That's a leading tone. Okay, so you got the first half step, E F, second half step, B C. If you practice in something called Tetrachord, so in each you divide the scale into two sections of I think is let's see, 2, 4, 5, 5. Is it 5? Let's see. Okay, this is 2, 2. Okay, 5 half steps. That will give you. You will have 2 tetrachords. Okay, in each tetrachord, four notes. You have 1 half step. E to F, for example. That's 1 half step. That's your first tetrachord. And starting on G, you have your second tetrachord, and each one has one of the 2 half steps in this scale. Okay, that's your first tetrachord or section, if you want to call it that. And starting on the 5th, you have your second tetrachord. You know, each tetrachord, each tetra section contains one of the half steps in the major scale. Combining both tetra sections, tetrachords, and you have the complete major scale. And those tetrachords can be major, minor, augmented, diminished, and so on. And it depends on where the half step is located in the tetrachord or tetra section. So this is why this is one of the reasons why that those half steps are very important within the major scale. Okay, so all right, so as you could, at the beginning of the video, I played the C major scale, and I think I played the 7th chord. If I didn't play the 7th chord, I'm going to play them, but I play the modes. I play the first mode, the Ionian mode, the second mode, starting on D. There was the D Dorian mode, and I play E Phrygian mode. I play F Lydian mode. I play G Mixolydian mode. I play the E Aeolian mode, and then I play B Locrian mode. And you know what mode is? Mode is nothing more than playing the major scale starting on different notes. Those are the modes. It's nothing complicated. It's just that you play the same scale. You don't change any notes. You don't change any note within the scale. You just start on you just play the same way you play chord inversions. Well, you can also play scale inversions. So when you play scale inversions, you don't change any note. You just start on a different note, and those are the modes and the parent mode is the Ionian mode, which is actually the major scale. All the other modes within the major scale, they just they are all those modes. They are just member of the major scale family, and the major scale, the Ionian mode, is the head of the family. Okay, so and on each note in the major scale, you can build a chord, a seventh type chord, okay, by playing intervals of third stacked on top of each other. They can be major third, they can be minor third, but it's good. But it's a combination of 4 notes starting on the root, which is C. Okay, intervals of third, 4 notes: C, C, E, G, B. Okay, so this note, this chord right here, C, E, G, B, natural B, that's C major 7th chord. So that this major 7 type chord, C major 7th chord, is related to the Dorian, no, is related to the Ionian mode. Okay, remember that? Okay, so if I play, let me see if I can give an example. This is the chord C major 7th chord that is related to the Ionian mode, which is the parent scale, the regular C major scale. You can practice by playing the chord, and then you play the scale. Oh, sorry. That's the C major 7th chord and the Ionian mode. Okay. Now you can build a chord, a minor 7 type chords starting on the second note, which is D. That this D minor 7 chord is related to the Dorian mode, which is built on the second note of the scale, of the major scale. And then you go to E, E minor 7th chord, which is the Phrygian mode. You can play the scale. To practice, you can play the Phrygian scale. Alright, now we go to the Lydian mode, starting on the 4th degree. The mode, let me play the 7th type chord, starting on F. That's major, F major 7th chord. Then you can play the Lydian mode starting on F. It's a Lydian mode. Play together with the F major 7th chord, and then you play. Now let's go to G. That's a G dominant 7th chord. Then you can play the C Mixolydian scale, not the C, the G Mixolydian scale. G Mixolydian scale over G dominant 7th chord. Now we go to A. That's A minor 7th. Now you can play the Aeolian mode over the A minor 7th chord. Then you play B minor 7 flat 5. Then you play the Lydian mode. Okay, starting on B. Okay, that's the modes in the key of C major, and the seventh type chords you can build on each note. Played together. Now, the next thing that is very important to know before you can understand the concept of cadence is the functions of those notes, of the 7 notes within the scale and the 7 chords within the scale. What are their functions? Well, they can have one of those 3 functions. They can be either tonic, they can be subdominant, or they can be dominant. Because each note within the major scale, which is within the diatonic major scale, has a function to play. Tonic, subdominant, or dominant. Okay, so each note or each chord built on each note, they have all of those chords and all notes have functions to play. Either one of those 3 functions: tonic, subdominant, dominant. And you must know, you must understand, you must understand those functions to be able to understand the cadences. Okay, so how do you know the functions they play? So you got tonic, subdominant, and dominant. When you hear tonic, that means that's a chord that is very stable. It is well contained. It is well contained itself. It is just like home. Okay. When you play that chord, the tonic, it sounds complete. It doesn't really want to move to another chord. It is stable. Okay, and why they are stable? Well, it depends. You know, you remember those 2 half steps I told you that that are very important, and then this is how you can determine whether a chord is stable or unstable. If a chord, for example, the C major 7, if a chord has note number 4 or note number 7 in it, okay, let me put it this way. For you to determine how stable or unstable a chord is, you need to find out if that chord has either the 4th note of the scale in it, or the 7th note of the scale in it, or both. Okay? If a chord doesn't have either the 4th note, which is F in the key of C major, and the 7th note, which is the B in the key of C major, those two notes that make up the two half steps in the major scale, that chord is very, very, very stable, because it does not contain either one of those two notes, the 4th and the 7th note. Okay? If a chord only has one of those two, it is still a stable chord. Okay? If a chord has two of them, if a chord has both the 4th and the 7th notes of the major scale in it, that's a very, very unstable chord. I would say an unstable chord is not comfortable at home like a tonic. Okay? And a very unstable chord is even less comfortable at home than the tonic and the stable chord. I'll give you an example. Let's play C major. Remember, we're talking about 3 functions: tonic, subdominant, and dominant. Okay, let's start with the tonic then. Let's see if we can find which chords or notes play the functions of tonic in the major scale. If we're using the C major scale. Okay, let's see here. Let's play C major 7. C, E, G, B. Okay, I can see that this chord has the 7th note of the scale in it, which is B. Okay, but it does not have the most unstable note in the scale, which is the number 4 note, which is in the case of C, which is F. So that's a stable chord. So the tonic is a stable chord. So C is a stable note. Okay, C, the tonic of the major scale, is a stable note, and the chord built on it is also a stable chord. Okay, now that's a tonic. Let's play. We're dealing with tonic now. Let's play the natural minor, which is the relative minor to the major scale. In the case of C major, that would be A minor, okay, which is alright, A minor 7 then. Alright, so now A minor 7, let's see, we got A, C, E, G. Okay, let's see, we don't have the note, we don't have the fourth note, which is F in it. We don't have the seventh note, which is B. So that's a very, very stable chord. Okay, because the fourth note and the seventh note within the scale are absent in the chord. So that's a very stable chord. Alright, so far we have C major 7, that's stable. We have A minor 7, that's stable. So those are tonic. Okay, the stable chords are tonic. Their functions. So C major 7th, which is 1 major 7th. Okay, 1 major 7th in the major scale. Its function is tonic. A minus excuse me, A minor 7th, which is 6 minor 7th in the C major scale, is also tonic because it is stable. It is a stable chord. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I think we have another tonic. Let's try E minor 7. Okay. E. Yeah. E, G, B, A. Okay. E minor 7th. We have only one of those half step notes. We don't have, let's see, there's no F, the fourth note, but there's the 7, B, but you don't have both. So right here, this is a stable chord also. It is a stable chord, so it is a tonic chord. Its function, just like the C major 7th and A minor 7th, its function is tonic. Okay, so we are done with tonic function. Okay, we got the one chord, 1 major 7. The one chord is tonic. The 6 minor 6 chord, A minor 7, is tonic, and the chord built on the third, E minor 7, is also tonic. Okay. The one chord, 1 major 7 chord, 6 minor 7 chord, and 3 minor 7 chord, those are tonic. They're stable. Okay. Okay. What I mean in their functions are tonic. Okay, now let's go for subdominant. Okay, subdominant. Now let's go to the 4th degree of the scale, which is of the C major scale, which is F. Alright, we can see here, you got F, A, C, E. So we have the note F, which is one of the two half steps, which is the note that that makes one of those two half steps in the scale. So okay, all right. So we can say this chord is, but it doesn't have B. It doesn't have the other note, that makes up the half step in the scale, which is B. So that's it. That's a stable chord also. No, that's not a stable chord. I'm sorry about that. When any chord that has the fourth degree, the fourth note of the scale in it, it's not stable. Okay? It's not stable. So since F major 7th here has the F chord. Let me repeat that. See, since the F major 7th chord here has the fourth note of the scale in it, which is F, we know it is unstable. But how unstable it is? Well, let's see if it has the 7th degree of the scale in it as well. If it does, it will be very unstable. Let's look. Okay, this is F. No, there's no B in it. So it is unstable, but not very unstable. Okay? Because it does not have both the fourth note and the 7th note of the scale in it. Remember, any chord that has the number 4th note in it is unstable. Now, what you need to determine, is it very, very unstable or mildly unstable? That depends if it has the other half step note, which is the 7th note in it or not. Okay, so we know, okay, an unstable chord still wants to resolve to another chord. Okay, an unstable chord is not like the tonic, which is self-contained at home. An unstable chord like the F major 7 chord requires resolution to another chord, to a more stable chord. I can say so. All right. So its function for this reason is a subdominant, because it is unstable but not very unstable. So it's not dominant, it's subdominant. Okay? Alright, so okay, the function of the four major 7th chord in the major scale is subdominant. Okay, that's the function. Now let's try the D minor 7. Alright, okay, is it stable? or unstable. Okay, let's see if we have the note F or B in it, you know, which are the fourth and the seventh note in the key of C major. Let's see, D minor 7. Okay, we got D, F, A, and C. Okay, we know we got F. It has the fourth note in it. We know right away it is unstable because it has the fourth degree in it. How unstable it is? Is it very unstable or just unstable? Let's see if it also has note number 7. Let's see. D, F, A. No, it does not have note number 7 in it, so it is just unstable. Okay, just like F major 7. Okay, so for that reason it is subdominant. So when you play when you play when you play a piece of music, you can substitute those two chords. Okay, D minor 7th and F major 7th. You can substitute one for the other because they are both subdominant, two unstable chord, subdominant. Just like you can substitute the tonic chords, the C major 7th, E minor 7th, and A minor 7th. You can substitute those chords because they all three are tonic. They mostly have the same notes in them. Okay. All right. So we saw. Okay, we did the tonic, we did the subdominant. We know what they are. It's a minor. It's 4 major 7. That means F major 7. They build on the fourth note. 4 major 7 and 2 minor 7. Let's move to the G. The G dominant 7th. All right, let's do it right over. Let me do it here. All right. Nope. G dominant 7th, which is G, B, D, F. Okay. G, B, G, B, D, F. Okay. So, how unstable is G dominant 7th, which is built on the 5th degree of the scale? It depends if it has both the 4th note and the 7th note of the scale in it. Okay, in the key of C major. Then let's see. Let me do it here. Okay, G, B, oh, we have B, the 7th note of the scale. And we got F, the 4th note of the scale. So the G dominant 7th chord has both the 4th and the 7th notes of the major scale in it, of the C major scale. So that is a very unstable chord, and this is why it is called dominant. So it is more unstable than the subdominant. It definitely wants to resolve to another, to a more stable chord. And most of the time, the more stable chord, that very unstable chord is going to resolve on, is going to be the tonic. Okay, G dominant 7. Okay, that's a dominant chord. Okay, this one is dominant 7. Okay, I think we have one more to go, which is the B, which is the B, B minor 7 flat 5. Okay, how unstable that chord is. Let's see. B, D, F, and A. Okay, just like this, the G dominant 7th chord, which is dominant, the B minor 7 flat 5 chord has both the 4th and the 7th note of the scale in it. So it is very unstable, just like the dominant 7th chord, the G dominant 7th chord. Okay, so its function is dominant. Okay, the function of the G dominant 7th chord is dominant. Okay, so B minor 7 flat 5 has a function of dominant, just like the 5 dominant 7. Okay, so now I say 5 dominant 7 because the dominant 7 is built on the 5th degree of the scale, of the major scale. So now you can substitute, okay, G dominant 7, okay, for B minor 7 flat 5, because they both very unstable dominant chords. All right, so I'm going to stop. So next, I'm going to stop now. I just wanted to cover this basic stuff with you. So when I actually tackle your specific question about cadences in music, you will be able to understand the concept very quickly and very clearly. So remember, the functions within the major scale, functions of the 7 notes and the 7 chords built on the 7 notes. Those functions are tonic. We have 3 tonics. Okay, we have the 1 major 7, 3 minor 7, and 6 minor 7. So that in the key of C major, that's C major 7, E minor 7, and A minor 7. Those are the tonics. Now, subdominant, we got 2 of them. We have 4 major 7. That means on note number 4, which is F major 7 in the key of C major, and D minor 7. And you can substitute those chords because basically they have the same notes. Okay, this is subdominant. Now, for dominant, we have the 5 dominant 7. In this case, in the case of C major scale, the G major 7. Okay, 5 major 7, and then 7 minor 7 flat 5, which is B minor 7 flat 5. So you could substitute G major 7, okay, for B minor 7 flat 5. And there you have it. The next video will be about answering your question on cadence.